everybody, this is Mike from Nerdient. Before we get going on our first podcast episode, just a couple of notes. Somebody named me made some bad audio engineering choices on our first episode, so my microphone clips and goes in and out a bit. But I thought the episode had a lot of good things to say, so instead of doing it over, we're just going to release that first podcast, warts and all. So here it is, our first Nerdient podcast with myself, Mike Olson, and Rob Lloyd. All right, so I'm recording. So we'll start and just, because things are so insane, we'll just start talking.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Okay.
So, how are things? What have you done to prepare yourself for this insanity?
All right, well, first, let's introduce our first podcast.
Okay.
Okay. I'm Mike Olson, and this is Rob. And Rob and I have been talking for, a long time now about podcast. And we are actually kind of getting somewhere with it, some sort of weekly podcast. And then the world expands. So I think eventually we'll also be talking just general nerd stuff, and that's why the podcast is called Nerdient. But for now, Rob and I just thought we'd start today, and we'll try to talk every day. I don't know if it'll be every day, but we're going to try to talk today or daily so that we can talk about what's going on in the world. So, I don't know. Does that seem like a fair description?
Yeah, I think that sounds relatively correct. Um, yes.
Yes. So, and then I am going to try to these posted right away because things change so fast right now that hopefully the day that we record these podcasts, we'll get them up and get them going.
Great. That way it will be topical instead of
Like,
not topical.
right. So whatever numbers we cite today, just double them for the next day, right?
Essentially. Yeah, the world could end.
So it's today's date. Is it,
Today's March 20th.
Friday?
Friday.
It's only to keep track of all this stuff. So
It is. I really lost a day this week. I don't know where it went. I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, what have you done to prepare yourself?
So a week ago Friday, actually 2 weeks ago, I sent a note to my doctor to start off because I've had medical issues, just a few. We can talk deeper about on
You're
some
the fucking Terminator.
on another podcast, but yeah, I've almost died a few times. Anyway, a couple weeks ago, I sent out an email to doctors saying, "Hey, things are starting to get a little weird. Should I stay home?" And then last Friday, I got the note from my doctor out of work, so I work from home. So I feel pretty safe because I've been sheltering in place now for 8 days or whatever we're calling it. Quarantine, stay home. So, and then my wife is a teacher and my son is in high school. So we got into the house, I think, a lot earlier. As of today, we've all been here for at least 7 or 8 days. We happen to have stocked up on groceries a couple weeks ago. And my daughter, who's in college right here at in the same town I live in, she's staying on campus, but she's able to bring us groceries and stuff like that. My case is a little bit more touchy than most people, but I can get out and drive my car, but I gotta kind of just be a little more cautious than even the average person right now. So that's where we stand. How about you?
So I have been working remotely this week. Um, I My wife is still at her office running her small business, and in order for me to work remotely, I can't be responsible for my 6-year-old child, so he's at my in-laws. So but outside of that circle, we haven't done anything else. Like, we got plenty of groceries, we got all that stuff really early, stocked up on all the essential stuff. So we're good with food and drink and all that for at least a month.
So 6 years old is the exact age.
They have to be old enough to know not to bother you when you're at work. The problem is not so much that I was worried about watching my kid because I really don't have anywhere to go for work. The problem is that I'd be worried that he'd pop up at the wrong time during a meeting or something, and then I'd have to explain why my kid was there.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. So it's how we're just kind of figuring out these things as we go, right?
Right. Because, yeah, as much as everybody talks about having a plan for everything, nobody has a plan.
No, even so if I started staying home on Friday after work, I was just starting to get a little itchy, right? And then I popped into my head, wait a minute, I don't actually have to stay in the house. I could get in my car and
Right.
go for a drive. But I just didn't even like it took me even a day to even think that I could actually, you know what? Even though you're in isolation, you can go for a drive. You can find a wide open space to fly your drone or stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah, so even for me, it's yeah, like exactly. You don't just up as I go, quite frankly.
Yep.
So, and in the job that my normal job, I'm a food service manager in a large education institution. So it's a little hard to work from home, but I do payroll. There's stuff I can do from home. So, yeah. And one of the more fascinating things to me is to watch how the university that I work for responds to all this in real time. So it's sort of fascinating to watch
Yeah.
even over email the decisions that are being made, and I think they're doing a great job. My department's doing a great job, and U of M's doing a pretty good job. But it's just crazy to see when I was working on Thursday and Friday, which were the 2 days that the university canceled classes so professors could figure out what to do.
Hmm.
Um, we're changing on the fly, like
Yeah.
minute by minute. On Friday, we're having a little. We're open for service. Um, the numbers are down, but they're still up quite a bit because they said everybody leave if you can. And in the middle of lunch service, my boss gets a phone call where they tell us to remove 2/3 of the dining chairs from in the dining hall. So as people are coming in, we're just hauling chairs away, and they're just looking around. And in the booths,
Great.
I had to take on every booth that said only 2 people per booth, so they wouldn't all crowd into the booths because the chairs were separated. Really interesting. And
Nice.
that was only a week ago. That's the last I got a flavor of actual in unit what's going on.
Huh. Yeah. I get a lot of interesting emails also about work stuff that I can't really get into, but it very significantly shifts how we do business.
We kind of where I live, DoorDash just started working
Oh,
with
you have DoorDash?
2 restaurants.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, the Coney I only like 3 restaurants in town. So,
We can't even get anybody to pick up our shipped order.
oh really?
Yeah, nobody will pick it up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Everybody's nuts up here though.
yeah, it's it's interesting that you say that. Um, you tell me. I have a sense that Rob lives in a area, so I have a sense that people might is overblown at this point. Am I right?
No,
Okay,
everybody's
good.
super paranoid.
Well, that's almost better, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's safer for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. There's, all the buzz is that there's all kinds of people who are sick who are reporting. There's just everybody's into these paranoid conspiracy theories, like big time. Like, oh, everybody in the country has it, and they're using it to keep voted to repress voters, and just all kinds of nonsense.
How to even respond to that? I mean,
Yeah,
I guess maybe that comes just political.
I'm seeing it on both ends though.
Oh, for sure. What your paranoid reaction is depends,
Right.
but there's paranoid reactions all across the. Yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes
not
it's the
believe
same reaction, just blaming a different person for it.
this is not partisan at all.
No.
No, no, has their theories on every side. I'm sure. To me, right now, it's a bunch of incompetence on the.
Every
Yeah, everybody's.
the federal level, I think that the way that like the world has handled it has been questionable in some places.
Yeah,
I mean, it's everybody's kind of sucked a little bit. I think.
yeah, I think you're right, and it's obviously I still get the sense of that, like this 14 days, or we got like, in maybe a week or two, things are going to get better. And no, you know,
I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, I just purely looking at what happened in Spain and Italy, seeing the steps they went through, and we're going through the steps too, but we might be a little bit behind. So the governor of our state said yesterday she has no intention of, shutting it down like California, but it's, it's going to happen, right?
I I am pretty sure that it's going to happen today
You think today, huh?
at 3 o'clock.
Okay,
I think
that's your random.
that's if I were to put money on it in Vegas, I would put a lot of money that it's going to close, that the state will close at 3 o'clock today.
Okay, I'm gonna let you know that you can't do that in Vegas because Vegas doesn't exist anymore. I mean, they shut down all the bookies and the casinos.
Sports book is legal now in Michigan, though, so we're good.
This is true. Yeah, they closed down the casinos a couple days ago too.
Huh.
They're trying their hardest to open.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure.
They're literally starting to put up fake barriers to make little rooms of 50 people or less so they could.
God damn it, Vegas.
No.
I love you.
Ah,
You're the bestest.
I think that's spectacular.
Yeah. What can we do you think? So we got to be able to get these people in here.
I
Well, what
know.
if we set up barriers in private rooms? We'll only let 50 people in each room.
You hear GameStop is sending out letters to their stores trying to like it's essential. They're like an essential service.
Who?
GameStop, the video store.
GameStop is essential?
Yes. Well, they
Oh, I'm sure.
told all their store owners that we consider you uh, an essential service and wrote a letter that they could show to the local authorities in case they try to shut you down. And everybody at
Oh
GameStop
my
that
God.
works there is just like F you.
Yeah. You, right, dude. I don't understand why people work at GameStop. In fact, I don't even understand why people shop at GameStop.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like a worse version of Walmart. Like, and that's saying something. Like, you can get better games for cheaper at Walmart. I mean, you can't get used games, I guess.
My son and I do a lot of retro gaming. To go are all these like local
Yeah,
you
little mom and pop shops.
because those stores have all the really good old games and all
Right.
the old stuff you want to.
Yep. Hey, speaking of which, I can't get my Wii. Won't. I broke out my Nintendo Wii, but I can't get my Wii motes to work.
Do they have fresh batteries in them, Rob?
Uh, I can't believe I didn't think of that. I should probably, yes, I put fresh batteries in them and then resync them, and then nothing happens. I'm not getting any lights on the controllers at all.
Did you put a little Wii bar in front of the TV that receives?
I did.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I think I'm going to go to my local hobby store and buy a couple new ones.
They're cheap,
There, it's like $15 a piece.
right? You got to find something. I don't know. Do we really need to find some other things to do, or were we already homebodies, as it were? And you know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I mean, I have a boatload of stuff to do, and I never do any of it.
Exactly.
Like, this is what I have. I've got a brand new hobby where I make things with leather. I've got a PlayStation, a Wii now. I've got 7 different formats to watch television shows and movies, enough electronics to build a small wall to keep people out of my house. And I end up playing Candy Crush on my phone, laying on my couch for 3 hours a night while I fall asleep.
I know. I feel you.
I just touched my face, so I'm pretty sure I have coronavirus now.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I have noticed my Amazon. Do you buy a lot of stuff on or not really?
Yeah,
Shipping like 4 or 5 days now for
yeah, I
stuff.
saw that.
So I
It's
guess it's the way it is now.
it's just yeah, it's worse for me.
Oh, I'm sure.
In fact, I ordered some stuff on eBay right before this all went nuts, and it was like it will be there. I ordered it on like March 11th. It will be there by March 17th, and then like I looked at it again like 2 days later. It may be there by August. Awesome. There's
Um,
been some odd stories about people who have gone in with respiratory issues and they're just getting bounced back and having their diagnosis. If they had a previous diagnosis of pneumonia at any time in the last 5 years, they're just bouncing them out and saying that it's pneumonia and not testing them. Like it's it's there's some suspicious stuff going on, but
Yeah.
also on board.
Do you think that's all just tied into the number of tests?
Maybe I I mean I have two different mind states. I got normal Rob who's like, yeah, of course it's tied in. They want to make sure that they go to the people who need them and where there's been reported deaths so that they can track and see where it's coming from. And then there's paranoid Rob who's like, this is a fucked up situation where they're not telling anybody about anything because they don't want to cause panic and they want us all just to because they know that we're not most of us aren't going to die anyway. So letting us be sick and letting it go.
Yeah, there are two versions of me right now as well. It's normal Mike and paranoid Mike.
Right.
And paranoid Mike can show up at any moment.
Right. Paranoid Rob is way more fun because it's like just entertaining to process all this bullshit. We're swearing on this podcast, I hope.
Yes, we are. Mostly I'm okay. Just sometimes paranoid.
Paranoid Rob keeps me safe. I don't really want to get into politics too much, and I can't talk about work.
Yeah. So, I think in this podcast in general, we might talk about broad politics, but not anything partisan. It's a waste of time.
Yeah. So I think essentially, so what do you think the worst case scenario is? Do you have a gun in your house? Okay. And you probably don't need one where you live.
Probably not. I'm thinking about it, but I don't think I need it where I am. I have good relationships, and they all have guns.
Right.
So, where I'm at, I'm fine. I might at some point change my mind, but I assume that you probably do.
I currently do not. My wife and I had a long conversation about it and decided not to. So all my guns we keep at my in-laws in my father-in-law's gun safe because he's got a lot of guns.
Oh, that's good.
And so they're like 6 blocks away from us, eight
Yeah.
blocks away from us. So if something goes down, in theory, like if shit hits a fan, I can get over there and get some guns and some ammunition. I'll be fine. He can like make bullets, so we're not in any kind of. We've got access to everything we need. The problem is that if somebody decides to like break in my house in the middle of the night to try to steal my toilet paper, then that's when the issue's going to happen.
Right.
But at the same time, what are you going to do? Somebody could do that anyway, and the odds are just as good that my kid's going to find the gun and shoot me as because I told him that I turned off Pokemon on TV or something, as somebody coming in to get my toilet paper. And really,
Yeah.
you know,
I agree. At this point,
I'm not sure which house we go to. They've got like a freezer, like 2 top open like chest freezers full of fish and venison. So we're good.
yeah.
But I'm worried about my 92-year-old grandmother, or my wife's 92-year-old grandmother, who refuses to not go to church every day.
Yeah, those are concerns. My parents are 70s and very involved with their church. And I talked to them early. They basically, I was very how serious they are as well. They're staying home. They're doing this. Um, their church is now online only.
Nice.
Um,
Hey, what are you going to do with your $1,200 check or $1,400 check or whatever that you got, Connor?
yeah, I'm not going to put it away.
No, just going to spend it frivolously.
Yeah, a little bit of it. We still have tax. We'll have a health return, and that's what we're going to put away for a rainy day. But I don't know. We were before all this happened. We were changing stuff in our house, so we might continue to do that. So I'm talking about simple things like some new furniture, throw rugs, that kind of stuff, cheap stuff. But what about you?
They're kind of the same deal, man. I mean, I think we're just going to save ours because we just paying for dumb stuff. Like we had a lot of weird expenses in the last year. We redid a bathroom, and then my wife had knee surgery.
Yeah.
So like, just stupid stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't see how $1,200 a person is going to change anything for me.
It's not going to change anybody. Like, so I'm not worried about we're very fortunate. We won't have. I don't foresee any money issues, and uh, we kind of sheltered in earlier than people. So
Mhm.
I honestly feel kind of guilty about being that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that's good for you.
Yeah. You know our background.
Yeah.
I come from the service industry back. So
Right.
so literally,
We got out just in time. They're in big trouble.
I've had people reach out to me and ask me if I know of any work. I don't. You know, Amazon's hiring. Those are the only jobs.
Yep. And they might not be around for that much longer either.
No.
It's tough, man. My wife's getting ready to close up her shop too because she can't. I mean, she's going to continue to work, but she can't be guaranteed that people are going to be able to pay her.
Yeah. Well, listen. I think you have a thing that you have to go to, right?
Yep.
So,
Sounds good, bud.
all right. So that's it for episode 1, and we will be back tomorrow with another episode and better production
All right,
value.
listen.
All right.
See you later, man. Take it easy.
Okay.